What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday Gun Day. And yeah, I am back finally. I got another gun of the week here. Took some time, doing a lot of training, doing a lot of prepping for some big competitions I got coming up, October, November, and December. Got some big matches coming up, so I've been trying to put in the extra time and effort with that. That's no excuse to keep missing Sunday Gun Day. So without further ado, we'll get into it. It is another Glock build. So, nothing in the mag, nothing in the chamber. Let's talk about it. So, obviously I love Glocks. I have a lot of Glocks. And the best thing about Glocks is they are like Legos for adults. You can change them. You can customize them. You can do literally anything you want to them. You want them different colors, different shapes, different sizes. You name it, the world is your oyster. You can change it. You can basically make it exactly how you want it to. So this is pretty much my perfect Glock 45. So for those of you who don't know, the number that precedes Glock, or the G, is their patent number. It's the number of the model that comes out. So the patent number is the model. So the Glock 45 is a 9mm in caliber, but it is named the Glock 45. And it is a 4-inch slide on a full-size frame. So Glock 19 length slide and Glock 17 length frame. So love that because I get to have the full-length, full capacity magazines of 17 plus 1, plus 5, whatever, whatever. Can't have too much. So on the front, the first thing we got is the Ramjet and Afterburner. So the Ramjet barrel and afterburner compensator. It is a very, very nice 2-port large compensator. And super easy on and off, just a tapered screw there, no Loctite, no nothing. Screw that off. The compensator comes off. You can remove the barrel for maintenance and stuff like that, cleaning. And then it's really easy to put back on. Again, no Loctite, no shims, no timing, no nothing. So you've heard me talk about the Radians before, and I'm going to keep talking about them because they're just amazing. I put them on every gun I have pretty much. That'll take them. Moving down, it is a regular stock Glock 45 slide, nothing special. Something great about the Gen 5s, they put the front cocking serrations, so I didn't have to have them cut and put in myself. I would like if they had serrations across the top. I do have that on another 17 build that I have that has reverse direction cocking serrations on the top, and I really do get a really good purchase and racking the slide from the front on that. So I kind of wish this had it. Maybe I'll have Joey do it. I don't know. I might give him a call. Moving back, Holosun 507C. So the 507 red dot, there it is. It's a 2 MOA. And the 507, you can do different reticles. The 407, it's the exact same thing, just no reticle options or different reticle options, but I never use it. 407s, in my opinion, are better just because I don't use the other reticle options. It's just a waste of money for me. So yeah. Let's see what else. So the sights on it, or night vision or vision, they are a tritium front with a blacked out stealth rear. And if you can tell, you can see it very easily through the optic. So that is a lower 1/3 co-witness. So that basically just means they are high enough to see through the lower third of your optic, so you can clearly align the front and rear sight should this optic die, crack, break, or something crazy should happen. They're just always good to have on a combat pistol or a battle pistol, which obviously Glocks definitely are. So just a little bit of redundancy. A lot of guys are just not putting sights on their guns at all. I get it. If you practice enough, you can get away with it. But for me, I like to have them, again, better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So I do that. Moving down, you've seen this before on another one of my guns. I actually have them on a few, but you have the Nomad Defense 9X enhanced two-tone frame. So Nomad Defense, awesome company out of Arizona. They have their version of the Glock frame. So the frame is serialized. You purchase it like you do any firearm, and then you can basically take whatever stock Glock you have and throw all the internal parts into it, put your slide on top of it, and it basically changes the grip completely. So if I was going to say one thing negative about Glock, and this isn't a negative, it's a personal thing because some people might love them, but it's the frame. You know, the frame, there's always something left to be desired with their frame. Everyone just wants it a little bit better, a little bit this, a little bit that. Everyone stipples it or, you know, contours the grip. They used to remove the finger grooves. They used to, you know, make it skinnier or larger. You know, you have the back straps to put on the back. It was just never quite perfect. There was always something. Nomad Defense took it and said, hold my beer, watch this. And they made one of the best frames for Glocks, in my opinion. And here's why I say that. I only say that because it changes the grip angle. Everyone complains about Glock's grip angle being that it's weird. You have to cant your wrist forward in order for the dot to, or the sights to come down and be level, which is true. It is an extreme angle on the Glocks. Nomad Defense cuts that right out. I can even show you. So here's a stock Glock frame. So you can see that hump here, pretty pronounced, right? You don't really have that with the Nomad Defense. It is more of a neutral angle, and that is better for your wrist. It's better for absorbing recoil and controlling recoil. It doesn't put as much strain when you have to push forward on your wrist. And I believe it points just a little more natural. So you come out of the holster and you want to get a sight picture. The way that your wrists lock out upon presentation is more natural, and you're able to catch the dot faster. So one of the reasons I really like the Nomad Defense frame is that different grip angle. They also have some pretty good stippling on it. It's built into the frame. It's pretty sticky. I mean, it's not the best out there, but it's definitely pretty awesome. It's like a silicone carbide-ish type of thing, or their own in-house stipple. I'm not sure, but it's awesome. It looks great. They did a fantastic job contouring it all. You have grip serrations serrations down there in the front. You have a nice undercut. It kind of has a double undercut. You can see there's a little bit of a curve there. So, I mean, I'll call it a double undercut. I don't know if you can see it that well, but it's undercut enough. And then you also still have your rail as always, which I have a Streamlight TLR1-HL. So high lumens on there. This bad boy is bright. Bright lights are a good and bad thing, depending on what you're using them for. Obviously, if you're going to use them to search and identify your target, which is what they're intended. However, sometimes when you get the HLs, the high lumens, the very, very, very bright light, if you're in a dark room and you are surrounded by white walls and you hit this light, there's a high likelihood that you're going to hit the light on the wall and it's going to blind you and, refract back into your eyes, and it's going to destroy your night vision. So just something to be aware of with super bright lights. They're great outdoors in large areas like warehouses and stuff, but inside of a normal structure, a normal house or something like that, too bright, there is such a thing. So just understand that. It is a 2-pin because it is a Gen 5. So you just have the 2 pins here. The takedown, it's exactly like a Glock, identical in almost every way. But yeah, so on the inside of this bad boy, I have a Glock performance trigger with an Overwatch precision trigger shoe. So I like the Overwatch precision trigger shoes because they are extremely flat and they definitely break at a true 90-degree angle. So very much like a 1911 or a 2011, it's very, very much a flat trigger face. And when you pull it, it breaks right there at the 90-degree mark. Reset. A little bit of creep, but again, that's the Glock trigger. And then I'm right back on that wall and it breaks again. So that's the Glock performance trigger. It's about 4.5 pounds. This one's fairly new, so it's not broken in yet. It will, the poundage will go down a little bit as I wear it in, but it breaks at about 4.5 pounds right now, which isn't bad. Again, combat gun. But the trigger shoe makes all the difference in my opinion. I can run this trigger very fast. The stock Glock Performance trigger shoe is just a little bit thick and pushes my finger out wide, way out here. I don't necessarily like that, especially if you're shooting with gloves on. The Nomad defense frame does have a nice large trigger guard area, so if you do have a gloved hand, it's a lot easier, but it's still not the best. I don't know. That's just me. I always swap them out. As you could tell, I'm a creature of habit. So there is a magazine well that comes with the enhanced frame. I do like it a lot. I mean, it works. Nothing super special, but no burrs. Pretty easy to catch the mag well. There is an aluminum back strap here, so it gives a little bit of weight into the back. You can kind of see it. It does come with polymer ones, but this one is an aluminum one, so it is a metal. Again, just gives it some weight and some balance. I am running, this is a Mill Spin +5 magazine extension. I like them for two reasons. Obviously, the +5 is great, but then I also like them for the extra weight. So when I do have an empty magazine and I hit the magazine release, it tends to just fall free. Sometimes Glock mags will get kind of stuck halfway in the mag well when you're trying to do a reload, and obviously it slows you down. You got to strip it and then grab your next source. But the heavy weight here, especially when it's empty, drops right out. So I like that. Something I forgot to mention on the inside. The other thing that is different about this gun is on the inside of this, I have a Radian compressor recoil spring, or recoil assembly, if you want to call it that. But it is from Radian. It's an aftermarket part. It is a stainless steel guide rod that you can change recoil spring weights. Comes with 3 different weights. Comes with the 13-pound, 15-pound, and an 18-pound recoil spring. I've done some reading online. I've done a little bit of testing. I need to do more testing, but I've done a little bit of testing, and it seems the 15-pound recoil spring is that sweet spot. It's still heavy enough to keep the reliability up with all different types of ammunition, but you know, the 18-pound is a bit snappy. It's pretty much a stock Glock recoil spring, so it is a little snappy, and it's oversprung on purpose for reliability. And the 13-pound recoil spring is just a little bit not snappy enough. You can kind of feel it be a little sluggish. It just, in my opinion, I don't think it has the reliability as the 15 or the 18-pound spring. So that's just me. So I go for the 15-pound spring in there. I really like it. It looks great. Functions perfectly with the Radian. It's tested with the Radian from the Afterburner and barrel and compensator. So it's tested from the factory, so they know that it runs good together. So, you know, keep it in the family, right? And that's really about it. That's my Glock 45 build. Short and sweet tonight, just to catch back up here. Ooh, you know what? Nomad Defense, one of the awesome things, I don't know if you can really see it there, but there is a ledge right here and on the other side right there. So that ledge is kind of like a thumb rest or a thumb index or even a trigger finger index point. So it's just something to help keep get a grip. You can push down on it if you prescribe to that type of thing, where you push down on the frame here to help fight the recoil. But for me, it's just a point of indexing is where my thumb goes. But I don't really use a lot of thumb pressure. I use more of a torque method where I torque backwards and I put a little bit of pressure under the trigger guard. But yeah, so just very, very awesome. I can't recommend them enough. I would just, the only thing I would recommend, if you do get a Nomad Defense frame, I would keep your factory Glock slide. I had a Zafiri Glock slide, and it didn't always play well with this frame. I couldn't quite figure out what it was. I didn't get to do enough testing, but I would just say you want to keep the reliability. I would keep a stock slide and the upgraded frame. All right. So that's that. This Glock 9, this is a 19X build that I did. It's pretty much almost the same thing, with the exception of, obviously, it's a stock frame, stock slide from Glock, but the frame is that 45 frame that I stippled and contoured and double undercut and all that good stuff myself. Obviously, it's not the most beautiful, perfect thing, but I tried to do a border. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, it works great. I love it. It is perfectly contoured to my hand. So I really, really, really do enjoy it. But we'll talk more about that. Maybe I'll do a comparison video, this 19X versus the 45 versus the Shadow System XR920P. I want to see if the Radian Ramjet Afterburner and the XR920P compensator, how they line up. That'll be a good comparison, I think. And then this one has all the same stuff as the other one has on it, with the exception of it has a TLR7X. It's just a brighter carry light. And I do conceal this from time to time, and my Tier 1 concealed fits beautifully, nice and snug. I do love my Tier 1 concealed holsters. I have a crap ton of them. So, all right. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. That's Gun of the Week for this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.